Hey Nash, what should we make?
Let's make birria again and turn it into a few fusion dishes.
All right, let's make some birria. So we start by making our sauce. Braising liquid? Whatever. Anyways, we need somewhere around 10 to 12 Guajillo chilies. You buy these dried at the store, or if you can't find them at the store, order them on Amazon. So we're gonna just cut the tops off of these guys. Most recipes will call for you to de-seed them. And if you wanna do that, you just cut the top off and then you shake it out. If you wanna split it, you can. Make sure and get all the seeds out. We're not gonna do that because I want the seeds. Because the seeds are where the heat is, so.
If you can't stand the heat, then don't eat my meat. I would say grow some balls, but they cut mine off and I still love the heat.
Yeah, I understand. But, you know, we don't judge here, so if you don't want the heat, take out the seeds. Now we want a few ancho chilies. These are just poblanos or pasillas that have been dried. So same thing goes. If you wanna remove the seeds, go for it. But all of the heat is actually gonna be in the next pepper we get to. If you want like 3 to 5 of these, but you know, whatever. And if there is no stem, then just leave it, you know? It's cool, it'll be fine. Then we want 3 to 6 chiles de árbol. This is where the heat is. The other 2 are more for flavor. This is where the heat is, so if you want to tone down the heat, these are the ones you want to remove the seeds from. We're not going to do that, and honestly, I don't actually see any seeds in these, so there we go. So there's all our peppers. Set that aside. Then we want to prep the rest of our vegetables, so we take a few Roma tomatoes. We're just going to quarter these guys. And then we want to go ahead and take an onion, quarter that, and then we want about a half a dozen garlic cloves. Just leave the skin on, put that all in a pan like that. Then drizzle or spray these with a little bit of oil, a little bit of kosher salt, and just a little bit of pepper. Season in layers, folks. That's what we're doing. Then into a pan on medium heat, we throw in our peppers, about a teaspoon of black peppercorns, and a stick of cinnamon. Maybe we should break this in half. Or pieces, whatever. Good enough. Just by toasting these, it's just gonna bring out the flavor. So you don't need any oil or anything. It's a dry pan. We just wanna kind of toast these around a little bit. And what we're doing here is kind of gonna be like a cheat code birria. It's fairly traditional, but probably not ultra traditional. So I'm not claiming this is, you know, some super traditional birria recipe. I'm sorry, I keep trying to roll the R's. I'm trying, folks, I'm trying. So we just get this toasted. There might be a little bit of snap, crackle, pop. Don't be scared. Then once that's toasted, then we add just enough water to cover our peppers. So that was 4 cups. And now we just want to rehydrate all of our dried peppers. So like this guy, I'm just gonna turn him over. And normally I would probably just do this with the peppers and not the spices, but it seemed like a pain in the ass to remove the spices. So the peppercorns and the cinnamon are going to get rehydrated as well. Oh well. Once you've reached a simmer, we turn down the heat, put a lid on this guy, and we just let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we take our veggies that we've oiled and seasoned, and we throw these under the broiler for 3 to 5 minutes until they have a nice char. All right, so then we got these guys right here. So I went ahead and cut the roots off of the onions. Then we're gonna go ahead and peel the skins off of the garlic. And then we set this aside. Then we bring out a blender bottle of some sort and we add all of our roasted elements. If you have a real blender, you might have more room. I don't know if we're gonna have enough room. I honestly don't think we will. So then we put in our peppers and about a cup of that juice. Then we put this top on. Then we go ahead and blend this. Then we pour it into some sort of a vessel. Then we take this, no need to clean it, and we put in 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of oregano, Mexican oregano if you have it, a half a teaspoon of ground cloves, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of dry, if you have it, or minced or grated ginger. Then we add 2 cups of beef broth. Then we put our top back on here, and then we blend that. Then we take this off and add it to the rest of our stuff. Then we want to get out about 4 pounds of chuck roast. Let's get rid of that beef diaper there. Then we want to cut this into about 3-inch cubes or some reasonable facsimile thereof. Then we take these guys out. That's what we got. And then we just want to hit these guys on all sides with some kosher salt, some black pepper, and some garlic. Then in a rip-roaring pan, super high heat, we're just gonna go ahead and throw our guys in here. And we're not looking to cook them, we're just looking to sear them. Get a little bit of brown, get a little bit of flavor. You might have to go in batches. I don't know, we're about to find out. We can make it work. And we're just looking for a little bit of color. So that's what we're looking for right there. So then we just wanna make sure and hit your guys on all sides with a little bit of color. And once you have color on all sides, then we just go ahead and pull this off. And then into our slow cooker, we go ahead and add all our meat. And then we pour our sauce all over the top. This sauce is pretty thick, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab these guys and move them around a little bit. Allow that sauce to sort of penetrate all the nooks and crannies of our meat. Let me go ahead and put a lid on this guy. And depending on how much time you have, we cook this guy on high for 4 to 6 hours, or my choice would be on low for 8 to 10. But either way, we just let this guy go. It was a little work up front, but now just let the crock pot do the work. After our meat's been braising away in this liquid for about 9 hours, then we just go ahead and just give it a stir, make sure nothing's stuck to the bottom or anything like that. Then we can kill the heat and let this cool down a little bit before we try to handle it. And once our meat has cooled enough to handle, look at that. Oh yeah, we're getting somewhere, folks. Look at this. This is going to be the most amazing sauce ever. But before we do that, we have to go ahead and remove all the beef. And if it's falling apart, then you did something right. And then we could take a knife and fine chop this, or we could be more artisanal and just use 2 forks and shred the out of this thing. It doesn't take much because this meat is, I don't want to say mush because that sounds bad. There's nothing bad about this. But this meat is so freaking tender that it's just going to come apart with very, very little effort. Whoop, we got a spill. We got a few spills. So then once your meat is nice and chopped or shredded, just go ahead and take whatever sauce came with it. Just sort of stir that in, get that all incorporated. We want to achieve a homogeneity. I know it's homogeny. Not all my jokes like.
You're an idiot.
Yes, that is factually true. We have our shredded birria meat all soaked in sauce, and we've successfully sprayed random little birria driplets all over our surface and probably our whole kitchen, maybe the floor. Nash is in the background, just, you know, doling out death and destruction to some random toy. But let me wash our filthy forks. For our cheese, we're going to grate some mozzarella and some Monterey Jack. And then we take our sauce, I guess that's the right word, and we're gonna strain this. And make sure while you're doing it, you pour nice and aggressively so it spills all over your stove, because that's the way to do it. We're just trying to remove all of the solids, all the particulates. Then once you've strained all the liquid out, take whatever solids you have left, add it to your meat. And then you have your strained, beautiful. So you can go one step further and go ahead and take, hold on, I have one sitting around here somewhere. You could take some sort of a fat separator like this. Basically, you pour everything in here. The fat rises to the top because it's lighter than liquid. And then you press the button, boop, 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 and it lets out the liquid, and then you just stop before it gets to the fat. So you could separate the two if you want, or you could just stop here, and that's what we're gonna do, because I want the fat, because we're gonna use this to cook some stuff, make some delicious stuff. So there we go. There you have your birria consommé sauce, or whatever the hell it's called. So the ultra traditional way that birria was served was as a stew. So you take the consommé, you take some beef, you throw it in a bowl, and you eat it. But modern times have clearly changed, and the popular way to serve or eat birria is in taco form. This video was really all about making the birria. We've already done that, but you know, just because, we'll go ahead and make some tacos. So we have our griddle. First thing we're gonna do is go ahead and, all you have is oil, that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and melt some Wagyu beef tallow on here. It's gonna make it delicious. Obviously my griddle is not super even, so we're just making up for it by spreading this out. Then we take one of our tortillas here and we soak it in our consommé, get all the liquid off. And this is why I left the fat in here, because this is gonna help this cook. Then we're gonna take a handful of our cheese and put that on there. And our cheese is looking a little bit bigger than our tortilla, so we're just gonna go ahead and push this in. Yeah, you've gotta push it. Push it real good. Turn our heat up a little bit. Again, push this guy back in, make him a little smaller, because it's too big.
That's what she said.
Put that on top of there. I guess this is technically a Quesobirria taco. I think I put too much oil on. That's okay, we'll make it work. We can just take all this and sort of put it on there. And then we put some more meat on there, generous portion. And then if you wanted, you could chop up some onions and some cilantro. That would probably make a lot of sense here. And there we go, there's your Quesobirria taco. So we pull this and we set it aside. And there we have our birria plus the birria taco. And it's time for a bite. See what we're working with here. Oh, yeah, it's hot. Hot, hot, hot. It's all for you guys. Burning myself. Cheers. It's a birria taco. It's nothing special, but it is amazing. It's crispy. It's got a ton of flavor. It just punches you in the face with the spicy, the savory, and that ooey gooey cheese. And you saw the cheese pull, nice little cheese pull. So yeah, the taco wasn't quite the point of the video. The point of the video was the actual birria, because we're gonna make it into some other stuff in the next few videos. So tune in for that. But this birria turned out amazing, and it makes your standard Quesobirria tacos really, really good. Out of 10. And hey, that's what I think. But let's see what Nash thinks. Hey bud, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I was just thinking about that Ring Camera Super Bowl commercial and how they're exploiting people's love for their dogs so they can spy on us more than they already are. I also will never understand dogs that run away, because this is where all the couches, beds, and food are. Why would I want to leave?
Well, check it out. We made the birria you wanted, and so we made some Quesobirria tacos, and of course we made a dog-friendly version just for you. Well, here you go. What do you think?
Oh, wow, that's delicious. It's rich, beefy, and cheesy, all wrapped up in a little taco. I'll take a dozen more, please.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Sometimes you have to say goodbye to the things you know and hello to the things you don't.
For our cheese, we're going to grate some mozzarella and some Monterey Jack. So we got our griddle nice and hot. I rubbed it with just a little bit of beef tallow, because you don't want too much oil or grease on this guy. And then we got our birria consommé over here. So we're gonna take 2 pieces of sourdough. We're gonna dip them in this. I don't want too much extra. And you want kind of a hearty bread, because if your bread sucks too much or it's too soft, this is not gonna work. Then we put cheese that's roughly the same size as your bread. Obviously, I could probably do a better job, but I'm not. And then we just take these guys. Can I grab them with my hands? Is that a stupid idea? Yeah, that's a stupid idea. All right, oh, come on, dude. That was not intended. And then we're just gonna put that on top of that. Oh, thank God we don't have the same problem over here. Put that on top of that. Let that cook for a minute. Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for. Nice crispy cheese. Okay, we lost some and we made a huge mess, but that's par for the course. Then we're gonna take some of our birria meat, just throw it on here, try to make a nice even layer. If our meat to cheese ratio is such as the meat is more than the cheese, is it really a grilled cheese? I don't know. Who cares? That's my answer. I'm gonna add some extra cheese, because why the not? And then we take this guy, put him on there. Oh, that is not. Oh, of course we're making a huge effing mess over here, but that's okay. That's okay, it'll be worth it. And we flip that guy. We don't really need to melt the cheese like a normal grilled cheese, because the cheese is already kind of melted, except for that little bit of extra we added. Basically, we're just trying to toast our bread at this point. And then as soon as your bread is nice and crispy on both sides, your cheese is all melted, everything's good, you go ahead and pull this guy, and we assess what looks like a murder scene that we've created of our stovetop. And there we have our birria grilled cheese. Now let's go ahead and cut this guy open, and then let's see what we got. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I don't think that qualifies as grilled cheese, but who cares? It looks delicious. So let's go. And it's time for a bite. Cheers. We put so much meat on there, I don't know if it even still qualifies as a grilled cheese, but who cares? It's freaking delicious. The birria meat that we made has just such depth of flavor. It's very complex, it's savory, it's spicy, it's just so good. And then that ooey gooey cheese, and then dipping the bread in that consommé and kind of using that instead of the butter you would normally use for a grilled cheese, it just amps it up. It's freaking delicious, and you should definitely try it. Out of 10. And that's what I think, but hey, let's see what Nash thinks. Hey bud, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Been learning all about birds and squirrels, so hopefully I can figure out how to turn them against each other.
Well, check it out. We made the birria grilled cheese you wanted. And of course, we made a dog-friendly version just for you. Well, here you go. What do you think?
That's phenomenal. It's like a birria taco and a grilled cheese had a baby, and I'm here for it.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end.
So we bring 4 to 6 quarts of water up to a healthy boil, and then we give it a healthy amount of salt. Then dump in 1 pound of the pasta of your choice. I'm using penne. You use whatever the heck you want, and it'll be fine. Then while you're waiting for that to come back up to a boil, go ahead and preheat your oven to 400. And once your water comes back up to a boil, we cook our pasta till 1 minute shy of al dente. So for me, that's 9 minutes, but follow package directions. For our cheese, we're going to grate some mozzarella and some Monterey Jack. And as soon as your pasta is done, we kill the heat and we drain our pasta. Then to a medium sauce pot on medium heat, throw in 4 tablespoons of butter and we let that melt. Then once that's melted, we throw in a 1/4 cup of flour and then we just whisk this until the smell of raw flour has exited the building and we have a nice smooth roux. Then we slowly whisk in 2 cups of our birria consommé. You want to add a little bit, whisk it in until it's nice and smooth. Then once you have a nice smooth mixture, we add in about a cup of milk. I'm using evaporated milk, so I'm lactose intolerant, but luckily I can eat cheese. But anyways, so I don't keep regular milk in the house that often, but I do have a bunch of cans of evaporated milk. So add that in, mix, mix, mix till that's smooth. And then we add a little bit of heavy cream. Once that's mixed in and smooth, then we add about half of the cheese we grated. So we had 4 cups total, 2 cups mozzarella, 2 cups Monterey Jack. I mixed them up. So we add just a little bit, let it melt, add a little bit more, let it melt, and just keep doing that until you've used up about half your cheese. There we go. We got a nice cheese sauce forming. If I was just putting this on something, I would definitely let it get a lot thicker, but because we're gonna try to incorporate this and then bake it, this actually might be good. I'm gonna let it get a little thicker, then we'll be done. And then once you have a slightly less thick than you'd like it sauce that's nice and ooey gooey cheesy, then we go ahead and kill the heat. Then we take out a big old bowl, or you could literally do this in the casserole dish because that's what it's ultimately gonna go into. Probably easier to do it that way. I'm doing it this way because I have this glass bowl, and that way you can see everything. Then to this bowl, we add all of our pasta. Whoops, forgot some. There we go. Then we add our birria meat. Whoop, and make sure to just throw some across the room. I'm surprised that didn't hit the camera. And we'll just sort of get this combined. Your birria meat's gonna wanna stick together. It's like a junior high dance, you know? It's a little scared to go mingle with the pasta, but we want to encourage it. Then we add our sauce in there. Yeah, there we go. Throw in that noodle that got away from you. And then we just give this another little mixy mix. Get everything combined, incorporated, as homogeneous as you possibly can. That's looking good. That's what we're looking for. Then we set this aside, but not too far away. And then we get out a greased casserole dish or aluminum pan, whatever you got or whatever you want to use. And then we just dump our pasta mixture into our dish. Even that out as best you can. Then we just take the remainder of our Monterey Jack mozzarella cheese mixture and put it over the top. If you're going for like a true like traditional birria, you'd want to use Oaxaca cheese, but I'll be honest, Oaxaca cheese is delicious, don't get me wrong, but you can't find it everywhere. So if you can't find it, it is basically like a delicious Mexican mozzarella. So that's why I went with the mozzarella, and I just like Monterey Jack. So that's how we got here. And then this goes into our 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Off we go. And here's a guy right out of the oven, looking good. It's a little bubbly and a little liquidy, so I'm wondering if maybe we should have thickened the sauce a little bit more, but we gotta let it cool and find out. So here's the thing with pasta bake, same thing goes with lasagna. You could cut it now, or even in the next 5 minutes, and you get a nice cheese pull, and maybe that's good for the gram, maybe that's good for YouTube, but then once you put it on the plate, it's all gonna just sort of melt and blah, and fall apart. So that's why we always wait. By the time we cut it, we don't get the cheese pull, but the reason is because we want a sturdier piece. Fun fact, that's all I got. Anyways, this is hot AF, so we're gonna let it cool. And there we have our birria pasta bake. Now let's go ahead and take a piece of this guy. Oh, see, this is why you let it rest. Otherwise, it's like cutting into liquid something. I don't know. My words are escaping me. Oh yeah, oh my goodness. Look at, why would you look at that? That's just a thing of beauty, and it smells like birria and some sort of lasagna or some had a baby. It's amazing. And it's time for a bite. Cheers. I'm not surprised, but this one is truly amazing. It's like a birria baked Alfredo. Yeah, it's freaking amazing. Go try this, like right now. You got some birria, go make this. You don't, go make that and then make this, and it's worth it. Out of 10. That's what I think, but hey, let's see what Nash thinks. Hey bud, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I was going down a Reddit rabbit hole until I could literally feel myself getting dumber. Even though I have plenty of brain cells to spare, I decided to pick up a book instead.
Well, check it out. We made this birria pasta bake you wanted, and of course we made a dog-friendly version just for you. Well, here you go. What do you think?
Wow, that's amazing. It's rich, creamy, and savory with a hint of spice. Kind of the perfect Mexican, Italian, American fusion.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves.
So for this recipe, we're going to be using these guys. These are the big ones, but the regular ones will be fine. They're just a little smaller. Size doesn't matter.
That's what she said.
So just as for any Pillsbury tube of dough, peel that, whack it, and there we go. Find a little seam here. We unroll this guy into the rectangles that are also triangles. Da, 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 da. The last one's always a little sad. It's okay, we'll fix it. We take these triangle guys, and then they're kind of like right angle triangles. We want to make them more into like the isosceles. Is that the one where the point's kind of in the middle? I don't know. I don't remember geometry. Then we take some of our birria consommé, and we just give this guy just a light brush. We don't want to bog it down with too much liquid, so just a nice, real light covering. And that'll do, pig. Then we take our grated cheese that has been sitting out for a little too long because it's starting to get melty and kind of slimy, but that's okay. Because you know, I'm not perfect, despite what a lot of you think.
Dream on, bro.
Just a nice little even sort of, I say even as I put the most uneven covering ever on here. Anyways, that'll work. And then I wanted some like onions and cilantro, but I don't want to add a bunch of bulk to this. So I have some of these like these sort of dried like onion chunks. It's not like onion powder. I mean, if you had onion powder, that might work. So we'll just sort of put these on there. And then I have some dried cilantro. So we'll just give it a little bit of that. And that's just for a little extra flavoring. Nothing fancy. Then we take some of our birria meat. We sort of pack that in there. And then we just take this guy and we gingerly, gently roll him on up. And then once your guy's all rolled, just so everything doesn't fall out, I like to take the kind of the corner deals that are sort of sticking out and just sort of tuck them in. Like you're tucking your kid in for bed or tucking yourself in for bed, you know? Self-care is important, folks. And then we're gonna take our consommé and we're gonna take this guy, and this is gonna be real messy, but then we're just sort of gonna dip him in here and then put him aside. I swear I didn't do it, officer, but there's blood on your hands. I know. Then you want to preheat your oven to 400 and then wash, rinse, and repeat. And then here's our little, beautiful little guys. I have them on a rack in a pan. And then we're just going to throw these into our 400 degree oven and bake them for 20 to 25 minutes until they're puffed up a nice golden brown. And then we're going to throw a little bit of cheese on top and then broil them for another couple of minutes so we get some bubbly melted cheese on top. And that's what we're doing. So off we go. And here we have our guys after 20 minutes. And since I left our cheese out for a little too long, so it was a little melty and we got what we needed out of it for the insides, but the rest is virtually unusable. So I'm just gonna use these mozzarella slices to top these guys. So we're just gonna give each of these guys a little half slice of mozzarella. Then we turn our oven to broil and throw these guys under the broiler for 2 to 4 minutes, depending on your oven, until the cheese is melted and a little bit bubbly and a little bit golden brown and crispy. So off we go. And here's our guys right out of the oven, looking good, still sizzling away, but they're super hot on the outside. Now they're even hotter on the inside. So we're just gonna let them cool. And there we have our birria crescent rolls. And it's time for a bite. Cheers. This is freaking delicious. I mean, a lot of it has to do with that birria that we used. Nash is angry. He's ready for his bite. A lot of it has to do with the meat and the complexity of the flavors we put in there. But mixed with some cheese and the onions and cilantro and this wrapped up in that crescent roll, it's a delicious, delicious appetizer. We've made quite a few different renditions of these. They're all really good. This one's definitely near the top. So go try it. Out of 10. That's what I think. But hey, let's see what Nash thinks. Hey, bud, how you doing?
I'm good, man. It just dawned on me that with some of these camera angles, my junk has been at least partially on display in hundreds of these videos.
Do you want a new camera angle?
Nah, I'm not ashamed or embarrassed.
Well, check it out. We made these birria crescent rolls that you wanted. And of course, we made a dog-friendly version just for you. Well, here you go. What do you think?
Muy bueno. Another big win for birria and for crescent rolls. These would be a perfect party appetizer.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life.
Nash approves, I approve. Another great birria dish. Go make it. Makes a perfect appetizer, tailgate, party, whatever. And hey, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you all. Love you all. If you wouldn't mind taking a second, go like, share, subscribe, hype, hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. If there's anything you want me to make, you want me and Nash to taste, go ahead and drop that down in the comments. And hey, if you like this video, go check out some other fusion experimental videos somewhere over here. And just remember, cook more, eat better, embrace the chaos. That's it for now, folks. Until next time, be good and peace.